How can I get my spouse to want to have more sex with me? Well, as a relationship coach and Christian sex educator, I do get asked that question often. Usually it's very subtle and roundabout, but that's where they are heading. And I'm going to unpack that for you today. And I have a couple of surprising questions to ask you in order to get to that answer. But I just want to tell you, I'm starting a new series. This is called Ask Mary, and I'm going to take a question a week that comes from my audience and just unpack it, give you some ideas that maybe you haven't considered, and always give you those practical tips, because I believe that intimacy can be made simple. That's the only way we're going to make it through, right? And be successful. And if you want to send me your question, please, you can put it in the comments, or you can private message me, and we'll get it all worked in. Okay, let's get back to our question. How do I get my spouse to want to have more sex with me? Now listen, there's not a lot of backstory with this question, and it can fit so many situations, and I want to give you some maybe extremes. So I've talked to clients and they have sex twice a day, and that's good for them. They are content, they're in agreement, they've come to that number. I also talk to clients who have sex twice a month, and they're good with that. They are mutually enjoying it, and it works for them. So, there's a lot of difference in those numbers, but we are not doing sex by the number, are we? No. What is the main thing is that you are consistent. And I want to tell you why that frequency does play into the consistency role. Sexual intimacy is good for you and your marriage and your family and your community and your contribution to the world. What does that mean? Well, I know there are so many benefits, physical and emotional, spiritual, just on and on, because God is good. And this is a gift that God gives to marriage. And so that means there is good in every layer. As a matter of fact, I wrote a book on that, God's gift to marriage. If you're interested, it's free. It's a download. You can check in with me. I'd be happy to get that to you. So I am pro sexual intimacy in marriage because there are so many benefits. But let's get to the two questions I have for you. That way you can get some more information. How do I make this practical? Because it's not a cookie cutter answer. So it's your marriage, it's your spouse, it's your sex drive, their sex drive. All of those factors have to be considered. Also, the beliefs about sex that you brought into your marriage will definitely impact your process, your questions together. So 2 questions I have for you. Number 1, why do you want to have sex more often? Question number 2, to your spouse, why do you not want to have sex more often? Okay, let's just think about this a little bit. So, why do you want to have sex more often? Now, I just said it was a good thing, so why wouldn't you want to have it more often? Like, more often means more good, right? That's my English lesson for the day. No, there's a little more to it than that. Why? So is it the physical only? Hey, the pleasure, the release are awesome. But if it's only about that, or mostly about that, then you've become a little selfish. Maybe you didn't know that. It's happening. What else is going on? Because of all the benefits, spirit, soul, and body, maybe there's just this emotional sense that just fills you up. And you just come alive and you feel known and seen and understood and valued, etc., etc. All good things, but sex is not the only way to meet those needs. So do some deeper digging for yourself about what need you have when you are requesting sexual intimacy with your spouse. Now, when it comes time to asking your spouse, why don't you want sex more often? Okay, attitude, tone, your location for having this conversation, all of that makes such a difference. If you're like, well, why don't you want to have sex more often? So you're not going to get a good answer for that. We need understanding. As a matter of fact, is that your goal? Do you want to know? Do you want to know, or do you just want what you want? I'm pushing back a lot because I know that these are the deeper things going on. And what is going on in your spouse's life? Maybe they're saying things they are facing that they haven't even told you yet. Maybe there's some new pressure at work. Maybe there's some physical things they're going through and they're not really sure and they're not ready to talk about it. Maybe there's some emotional issues. There are some emotional things that get triggered, may have nothing to do with you, but still there could be some kind of a wall there. There may be emotional things, hurts from the past that do have to do with you. And for whatever reason, now they have come up. So you see, there's a lot involved here. And I'm hoping that you're tracking, but if you're going, oh, Mary, too much, then I want to tell you, this is definitely my sweet spot for my relationship coaching. I love to help couples to unpack these things. There are usually so many eureka, aha moments when we are diving into these topics. So I do offer a free consultation, hop on the phone, 15 minutes, let's find out, is working together a good fit for you at this time in your life, in your marriage? So I hope that helps you to answer the question or start answering, how can I get my spouse to want to have sex more? Thanks so much for joining me, and remember that God's design for a thriving marriage is an intimate connection, spirit, soul, and body.